All right, you're now being recorded and you're live on YouTube.
But we are missing Karen. Chris,
Hey, how's it going?
we are now recording and live on YouTube,
Sounds good.
but we're missing Karen. So we'll give her a minute to figure that out. I'm sure Bob's phone is ringing.
Hi, it's Bob. Karen just texted me something happened to her computer, so give her a minute. She's going to call in.
Okay. Councilor Mack, thank you for rearranging your schedule to make this. I'm sorry about the schedule.
Not a problem. It ended up working out well in the end, so not an issue.
Good.
Just to let you know, we have had the internet cut out on us twice today. The last time it cut out for well over an hour, just about maybe 20 minutes ago. Just in case you lose me.
I think that's just an excuse he's using.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
Chris will handle it. Chris will handle everything.
I live right down the road now, so I'm just going to drive there.
Yeah, congratulations on your home.
Thank you.
Oh, nice.
Hey, buddy. All right. Hello, Karen. We're waiting for your speakers to come in. You got to click that button.
Okay, we're good?
All right. So I will call this meeting to order and thank you all for making this work. Again, we are via Zoom, but if anyone is recording this meeting, which it is being recorded for YouTube, there is a placard that talks about recording on the wall at the DPW building. So,
Christine is also recording it.
all right, perfect for, I'm assuming for minutes purposes.
Correct.
The first item is, well, I guess first I would like to, she's not here, but thank Denise for her years and years and years of service to this committee, the DPW, the city, the retirement board. So I'd like to start on that note. So a huge rousing thank you to her. I will be mentioning that at the city council meeting as well. I believe she had 49 years of service, so that's incredible. The first agenda item is review and approval of the minutes from the prior meeting.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes from the May 13th meeting.
Is there a second?
Second it.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that is approved. Department updates. The Honorable Dan Arnold, DPW Director.
Why, thank you. Just give you an update on the downtown water project. It's still moving along. This week, the contractor actually took off, so there's no water work being done down there currently this week. However, next week, they're going to come start in connecting the water main on Pleasant Street. So that would be from Pleasant Street. It would start at the intersection of Main and go down to connect to the water main's already in, but they need to do a connection at City Hall Ave. So Pleasant Street and City Hall itself will be out of water, along with a couple of units up to Knowlton Street will be out of water starting on Monday for 6 hours or so till they make that connection. And when they make that connection, then they're going to go up to Central Street and do a fire service for the Haywood Wakefield building, and also do a tie-in up at Maple Street. And also they need to connect the main going down Pine. So that will be starting next week. If anyone has any questions.
I do. Have the residents and the businesses on City Hall Ave, Pleasant Street, and Knowlton Street been notified?
They will be. We sent an email to City Hall just an hour ago, but we are making up like 40 or so notifications for the residents and owners.
Okay. And the Central Street in Maple and Pine, will that affect Haywood Wakefield Apartments and the assisted living facility?
It should not. They're now currently fed off the new water main, so we should not have to shut down the water service to those buildings to do the tie-ins.
Thank you.
Councillor Mack, you had mentioned that you had wanted to speak about some of the businesses on Main Street reaching out to you.
Yes.
I know the director had spoken with them, but I didn't know if you were all set on that matter.
I wasn't, I did receive a communication from the owners of John's Sports Shop. Not so much that anything can be done at this point, because they're very discouraged with the length of time this project has taken. I believe they told me they've been keeping track. It's been 14 months. They actually wish they had kept track about the number of days that were worked versus not worked. But their request was that, I'm sure like any other company, that if other cities and towns ask for a recommendation from the water and sewer company, that the city of Gardner is honest, because the businesses have been affected greatly by the project downtown. And I have to say, they're discouraged, they're upset, the horse is out of the barn, but their concerns should be acknowledged.
I'm not following your question as far as the recommendation of the contractor, or
Yeah,
what?
yep. They asked if Gardner goes for a recommendation for contractors, or if anybody comes back to Gardner to ask for a recommendation of how it was working with this company.
I think actually, I'll be honest with you, that working with a company is gone considerably well. I mean, we're working in old infrastructure. There's little plans on some of the underground infrastructure. It's a very busy downtown as far as what's in the ground. We're also going down through reinforced concrete, and there are 110-year-old water pipes that we're trying to connect to or remove. So you're going to run into issues, whether whoever the contractor was that we were hiring. We've had some instances, I'm not going to lie, but also we've run into ledge, which that's not on the contractor. We had probably a 5 or 6 week delay of ledge just on City Hall Avenue doing the sewer and water main.
Mm-hmm.
The gas company is in front of the ale house right now. They thought that was going to be a 1.5 week job, and they've been out there for a month just trying to bang down through ledge. So, I mean, there's always unforeseen issues that come along with a project. And quite frankly, this is probably the largest DPW or infrastructure project that's been done in the downtown since they put in the original water mains.
I think that the concern is, number one, they started over a year ago on Main Street. They absolutely acknowledged the fact that this project needed to be done. But then they moved to different areas of the city, you know what I mean? And then they come back and close Main Street again. It says, they asked right here, during the 12-week that the businesses had to shut down during the COVID-19, they would have been able to work except for 2 weeks. We were thinking our area with several businesses and restaurants might get completed at this time, and it didn't. So, and then they said, excuse me for a minute, they said, obviously there was some fault too of errors on breaking, I think a pipe or two, you know, that once they were repaired, and they, as I said, I'm just delivering their message that they're very concerned, that, you know, their needs have not always been foremost in this project's mind of the businesses.
If I could just say, I mean, I 100% understand their frustration. I've been down talking to some of the businesses down there. We did actually start this project. August 26th was the breaking date of the water main project. The gas company came in and laid a gas line in the summer. So that also, it looks like it was part of our project, and the downtown sidewalk project is continuing on as we speak. So downtown's been busy as far as infrastructure improvements. We had the COVID shutdown that took place. We actually had a crew member of the contractor actually test positive. So the crew itself had to shut down for 10 days. Couple that with the ledge, as I had mentioned earlier. We have had some breaks as far as where a contractor's digging. Some of the services aren't marked, and it's bound to happen that you're going to have some small, like you'll hit a water break, you'll hit a water service, and you'll end up tugging it with the excavator. It's going to happen on a project this large.
On a positive note, they are very happy with the company working on the sidewalks. And they have felt that this company has been wonderful and have been doing what they can to make it easier on the businesses. So I just wanted to pass on that positive note.
Perfect. Thank you, Counselor.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all for you today, Dane?
Just again, we've had some, as you know, flooding around the city that took place on Sunday night. We received over 3 inches of rain in probably about an hour, and it caused significant flooding throughout the city, as we all know. Storm systems just are not designed to handle such a flow. Your catch basins and your pipes just cannot handle that type of instantaneous flow. And so it backed up, and it caused flooding throughout many sections of the city.
There's not a whole lot that could have been done about that anyhow, correct?
We don't believe so. We are going to look into televising some of the drain lines down near the Greenwood Playground and throughout the city, just to see if we can find something. You know, it's not a lot of money to televise, and if we find something kind of a blockage, we'll obviously address it.
Yeah, to add to Dane's point, the drain we're most concerned about is the Wassa Street drain. That's the drain that catches all of downtown and brings it out to Parker's Pond, or the most of downtown. And we see a significant surcharge at the playground. Is it Greenwood Playground with Gene?
Yeah.
And yeah.
Chris, do you remember 2 years ago when the Acadian Club flooded out right there?
Yeah. So
yeah.
Same idea. So what we're thinking about doing is TVing upstream, you know, past the bank, heading up to the club, but also downstream, heading down Gene, because we're seeing it in both places. And hopefully it's something as simple as, you know, a giant tree root or a shopping cart, you know, something like that can be addressed, as opposed to just pipes this big, it needs to be that big. So I think that's what we're hoping to get out, you know, in the next couple of months. We get a TV crew up there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Lastly, I have an update on I'll call it the North Gardner Woods, Kelton Street, Stone, Wheeler, and Raymond Street. They are in very bad condition. There's tons of potholes up there. It's beyond sending a crew up and just wasting money patching the road. So I got an estimate on having a company come in who's under the city contract to come in and pulverize the entire, it's almost 3.5 or 4 miles of road, pulverizing it, turning it to gravel, and then only paving what we can afford this current fiscal year, which would be from Eaton Street, across the street from the golf course, down Kelton, past the Veteran Center to up to the Route 140 bridge, which is all I can afford as in this current fiscal year. It's going to be better than what we have out there. We've gone in front of conservation, and that's the approach we're going to be taking. We'll be notifying, I'm going to be talking to the mayor when he comes in and see how we want to notify residents and deal with notification of residents on that project.
Beautiful.
And that's all I got.
All right. Survey and engineering, city engineer Chris Coughlin.
Yep. I just have one thing other than the flooding that we all experienced earlier in the week. Bent's Pond. I don't know if any of you are being contacted. I know after the rain, it filled back up, but prior to that, there was no water in the pond. The dam on Winter Street has let go. There's a big gate at the bottom of it, and our guess is that it split, and we have no way to operate that or control the water level. So what we're going to try to do as a temporary fix is sandbag it to try to at least retain some water. But we're going to be meeting with contractors, hopefully meeting with a dam consultant next week to try to figure out the long-term solution to that in sort of a ballpark price. Because I think it could get expensive quick, just given that it's an old mill dam that doesn't really serve a purpose right now other than just the aesthetics of that pond. So I'll provide an update, hopefully either the next meeting or I'll shoot an email out once we figure something out.
Beautiful.
But that's it for me.
All right. Conservation agent Lindsay Butler.
So, Ben's Pond, I've received a lot of complaints about that, but as Chris said, they're working on that. Mass Electric, they're going to be doing some work on West Street. They're relocating some poles. And the elementary school, the commission we're working on issuing orders of conditions for that project. So I know they're trying to get things going quickly. They want to move that forward. And Leo Park is out to bid right now. So that's about it. Some other minor filings, just
What did you say was out to bid?
Leo Park.
And that's simply phase one, correct?
Correct.
That is the
That's-
natural park and not giant soccer field that.
Not a complex.
All right.
Yeah,
Perfect. As long as everyone's on board with natural park. All right.
natural park.
Sounds good. Then I just wanted to apologize to you. I'm sorry COVID got in the way. Karen and I would still be very interested in going out and viewing the Parker's Pond land, but I didn't predict a
Sure.
global pandemic. So,
No, whenever you guys are ready.
all right, that's about that. What do we got next? There's no abatements today, correct? Christine? None?
Nope, there's no abatements.
All right, item number 4, item 10288, a petition by National Grid for permission to install 197 feet of conduit starting at 370 Park Street and heading north to pole 40 on Clark Street.
So this is underground work related to the solar projects being developed further down Clark and further down West Street. They need to upgrade the transmission lines heading back to that substation. So I'm fine with the work, just the paving moratorium for Park Street. I think it was paved a few years ago. So they'll need to do some significant pavement restoration there. Typically, we suggest curb to curb, but that's a vote that this committee would have to make if you wanted to allow that work to happen. So curb to curb pavement by National Grid would be my recommendation.
And we have received, at least I have, and I know Councilor Hardin has, we have received some complaints from residents, but it's more or less that the resident had that large National Grid project built behind her house. And now,
Okay.
and now this is right there.
That's
So-
probably going to remain there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is just for the conduits. It'll be underground. There'll obviously be construction work at the time, but then you wouldn't see anything.
Do you have an estimate of how long the construction work would be?
I really don't know. Given that I think it's a little less than 400 feet.
Yeah.
I would think 6 weeks, but I'm just guessing. I don't know if there's more work to their scope other than what they're asking our permission for.
And I know the council president had reached out to National Grid as this is in her ward.
Yeah.
So I can ask her if she knows anything more.
Yeah, I know there's been a number of emails going back and forth, but I haven't seen an estimated construction time yet.
Beautiful.
I think it should also be noted, Chris, isn't it 307 Park and not 370? If that makes a difference on the vote.
It says.
Oh, yes, we looked at that. I think there was a numbering issue. It's closest to the substation, and I think that might be 307.
Yeah. So just have the record indicate that it is 307 if that is truly what it is and not 370 as indicated on the agenda.
I have a question, Chris.
Yeah.
The same person that reached out to Nate has reached out to me as well.
Okay.
Her concern is, she says she has some paperwork that states that it was not supposed to go by her home, and now it is. I don't know if that, I have not seen the paperwork, okay? So,
Yeah, I'm not sure what this person is referring to. I mean, these are going to be underground wires. They're currently above ground right now. I believe they're just upgrading them and putting them underground, or maybe just adding additional ones to go underground. But visually, I don't think after construction's done that you would notice anything.
I think for her, it's more concern of, she's had some water problems in the cellar when they, from the last time. So
Yeah.
she's concerned again, if they digging up, what will happen to her basement again.
Okay, and I can't promise anything like that, of course, but this work should be totally separate from any sort of, they're not going to alter the surface of the ground at all. It's just, it's going underground wires and then it'll be done.
What she has is probably paperwork from the original transmission from the old substation to the new substation, whereas this is a completely separate project as well.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Is there a motion on the table?
I'll make a motion that we accept number 10288 petition by National Grid for permission to install 197 feet of conduit starting at the correction of 307 Park Street and heading north to pole 40 Clark Street with the contingency that the resurfacing is done curb to curb.
Is there a second?
I second that.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. So that will head to the council as a whole for a public hearing and to be voted on at our next regularly scheduled meeting. Water Department loan order request for 2 items.
Yes, I'm asking for a $1 million loan for 2 projects to be undertaken for the water department. One is the painting of the elevated storage tank off of Route 140. It was last done around 2004, 2005. It was repainted, and after inspection, it's showing some signs that it needs to be cleaned and some repair work done on it and repainted. So that would be one project, and we got an estimate of about $350,000 to $500,000 for the work to be done. It's currently out to bid as we speak, actually. And then
What did we do on that recently? It's ringing a bell that we did something to that water tower in the last couple of years, right?
Actually, it was about 2 or 3 years ago. We resurfaced the 2 concrete tanks up on top of Reservoir Hill. The last time we touched the elevated storage tank as far as painting was about 15 years ago.
All right. And what's the other one?
The other one is inside of Crystal Lake, the filters themselves that treat the water coming out of Crystal Lake. There's 177 of them, and they're about $1,500 a piece. I need to replace them. They were last done around 2007. And there's also some plumbing work that has to go along and some fittings and whatnot that has to go. So that estimate is about $350,000 to $450,000 for the replacement of those projects. So I'm asking for $1 million. It could be anywhere between $700,000 or, $950,000 if it, for the two combined projects. I'm going to get a short-term loan for the work. I'm not going to drag it out for 20 years. I'm looking to try to get this paid off in, say, 5 years. I looked at the forecast of the water, since the water rates were just increased. We looked at this loan is not going to impact water rates. It's built into the rates as before.
Could you make it happen with 750?
I don't want to come back and have to ask for more. So I'd rather ask for $1 million and use 750 and just not use the remaining 250, just dissolve the loan order.
Is the replacement of the filters, is that out to bid right now as well?
No, that's actually going to be Veolia, who operates our facilities. There's a specific, they're Paul filters that are in there. They're very specific items. So it's just a matter of getting a quote from them.
All right. Is there a motion for a recommendation on the table? We can continue discussing if anyone has any questions. I know that Director Arnold is usually quite frugal with his requests, so anything that he is requesting is genuinely needed in our city. So.
I'll make a motion to send this, to approve this and to send it to the full council.
All right, so the motion is to refer to the full council with a positive recommendation. Is there a second?
I'll make a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. And so this will go to the council at our next regularly scheduled meeting.
Thank you.
For discussion and a vote. Councilor requests. Councilor Mack.
I just have a couple of questions. Dane, how are we doing on the Crystal Lake, the rocks that I've been requesting? For months ago, I took a ride up today and I noticed there's nothing there yet.
Nope, we're working on it. We will get to it.
I had a question about, and I'm not sure if this is the DPW, who oversees the buildings of the Greenwood Pool, the outside buildings for the maintenance?
Who is in charge of the maintenance of the pools?
Mm-hmm. At the outside building at the pool.
As far as the showers or the Greenwood pool itself?
Just the pool itself, the outside, like the buildings need to be painted. You know what I mean? The shingles and stuff. And I was just wondering whose auspices does that fall under?
That would fall under the personnel director, I believe, is in charge of the maintenance of that.
Okay.
There is discussion of putting in a new roof and vinyl siding of that area down there. I know there's discussion of it.
All right. That was my concern because I just, I want to maintain the buildings. I don't want to get in a state of disrepair. And I just did notice when I was out running around today that it was just something that caught my eye. And I'm trying to think of the last thing is follow up on our May 13th meetings. Some concerns or questions on tree removals were brought up. I had down 3 Chapel Street and 38 Chapel Street. So I just wanted to know if, what the progress was with tree removal.
Well, we have a list, and actually the list is growing. We're looking at a bunch. Those two properties are on the list. There's a process to it though. We need to take this list. We need to get a date from the mayor, which, given the situation, there's been a delay on that as well. We need to get a date from the mayor when we're going to have a tree hearing. Once we get that date, we physically have to go and make up signs and physically put them on every tree that we're going to either trim or remove. So it's a process. And then we also have to advertise that on the city website and the newspaper to notify when the public hearing is going to take place. So it's in the process. The list is actually growing because of the duration that we've had, but we're still taking trees down from the last time that we had a public hearing up in the Lovewell area and Adams Street area. So it's a process.
All right, thank you for the explanation. And finally, when Councillor Boudreau and Councillor Harder do your walk of Parker Pond, get in touch with me and I'd love to attend as well.
Okay,
Thank
Got it.
you.
yes.
All right.
I have a question.
Yep, Counselor Harden.
Yes. With the risk of sounding redundant on this, Dane, I got another call from a woman about Harvard Street at the Baker Street end. She said she went down there the other day and she didn't speak to you. I believe she spoke to, she couldn't remember the gentleman's name, but she knew it wasn't you. And she has some major concerns. And I realized that, you know, with this COVID-19, we have so many streets that need repairs. And I'm sure that's going to affect how many we do this year. But I'm wondering, she's asked me if I will go with her and we could talk to you if that would be a possibility. I'm not putting you on the spot.
As
But
long as we stay 6 feet apart, I'm fine with it.
okay. Thank you.
Just an update on paving though. I have not received any word from the state as far as what we're getting for Chapter 90. Usually by April, I have a letter or May at the latest, typically from the state saying how much money we're going to get from Chapter 90. I've heard rumor that we might get more, but I've also heard rumors that the state might yank the money and put it towards the COVID state bailout.
So they just approved 200 million yesterday. So that'll now go through the administration and come out as whatever it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that would be about $600,000 to the city. And again, it's would have to sit down and I'd go over the paving list with the mayor and determine what streets we're going to pave. I need $14 million to pave what's out there. That's bad, and we get 600,000. So every year it just gets worse and worse.
Right. Thank you.
All right. And now that's me. Dan, I just want to make sure it's that sidewalk again that we've been talking about and on Church Street. It's not like it's a continuous sidewalk. And whenever we talk about it, you say that it's just a piece. It's the corner of Waterford and Church on the right side. Do you know where Paul Tassone lives?
No, I don't. Is it on the Parker Street side or the Baker Street side of Church Street?
It's on neither. It's on neither. It's on the Parker Street side. If that's how we're
Okay.
facing left. So
Okay.
it's like you're walking from Parker Street. If you walk straight down and you take a right onto Church, you're walking down. Well, you're walking down Waterford, like you're going towards the school, and then you take a right onto Church. It's right there. It's got a little half a wall and a retaining wall. It's the little section of Church Street between Waterford and Leamy. And you'll be able to tell it's absolutely deplorable. The gentleman keeps bailing out and he bottoming out, and he is a disabled gentleman as well in a wheelchair. So he's just having a tremendous amount of hard time. And it's former councilor Paul Tassone that lives right next door, so he has my number. So
Okay, I'm looking at the one on the other side of the road, which I must have got the wrong. I must have the wrong address. I thought it was the one on the opposite side. On the high-rise side of.
No.
Oh, okay.
The high-rise side, it's the side. Well, the sidewalks in a lot of that area are unfortunate, and I hope one day there's something that we can do about that. But I kind of got to pick the battles as they come and become issues. So if you want to fix all of Church Street, that would be lovely. But as of this direct moment, I'm trying to help out a gentleman that cannot get out of his driveway.
Okay, I apologize. I had the wrong area. I'll go back out tomorrow.
Yeah, and I have tomorrow off, so if you text me, I can even go show you where it is. Like I have the rest of the week off.
So it'd be
Okay.
like 40 between 48, 50, 52. Church Street is where it is.
Okay.
I can probably tell you exactly what it was. But we can even that out offline Does anyone else have anything for the good of the order? All right, thank you, everybody, and welcome.
I'll make a
to
motion
Steve.
that we adjourn.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you, everybody. Have a
Have a great night.
long
Thank
weekend.
you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye.